sports. We are Buffalo. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
For 13 years, Ron Gardenhire managed the Minnesota Twins, but these days he is wearing Tigers colors. That won't, however, stop a reunion. It's a great night for baseball here in Minneapolis. We welcome you to Target Field, where tonight it'll be Game 1 in this 3-game series featuring the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pep alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here for Game 1 in the series. Got to be an emotional night tonight for Ron Gardenhire. Rod, there's no question about it. Coming back to Minnesota, a place that he's very familiar with.
No doubt, and he said as much. He's got a lot of family here still. He's got a lot of friends here. He still has a home here. His daughter lives here, not to mention spending about 2 decades in the Minnesota Twins organization. But from a baseball standpoint, he also said these Twins right now, 1 game in front of the Tigers. He's got the Tigers these days, and he wants to leave here in 2nd place.
All right, let's talk about this game tonight. John Hicks back in the lineup for the Tigers. Really, the whole month of May, he is owned. He had another home run yesterday in Seattle. He's been awesome.
You know, talk about slowing the game down from an offensive standpoint since he's gotten the opportunity to fill in Miguel Cabrera. That's what John Hicks has done. I mean, this guy does not leave the strike zone very often. Every time you throw that fastball in a fastball count, he is lining that ball into the right center field gap or the left center field gap. On occasion, he will get some backspin and some carry as he did yesterday and hit it out of the ballpark. 400 batting average for John Hicks in his last 10 games with 8 RBI. So he's been doing an outstanding job right in the middle of that batting order, keeping that spot ready until Miguel Cabrera gets back.
All right, the Twins, like the Tigers, have been banged up. They've got Miguel Sano on the DL. They've got Joe Mauer on the DL. Byron Buxton has been on the disabled list. He is back, but in the interim, Eddie Rosario has gotten it done.
He's the best player on their team for me, Mario. I don't know what you think about Rosario, but since 2015, all this guy has done is fill up all the offensive numbers, check them off. He hits for power. He's got speed. He steals bases. He hits doubles. Look at these monthly numbers. This guy's just been going off. Really the only one on their team doing some damage right now. And then when he's not getting it done on the offensive end, nothing drops in left field. We talk about Buxton a lot, and rightfully so. But Rosario is their best player. That's the one the Tigers really need to watch closely here today because he does a lot of damage and he does a lot of things to beat the opposition. He's a really good baseball player.
All right, Game 1 in the series just minutes away. Coming up tonight, Blaine Hardy will be on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. When we come back, we'll talk the Tigers-Twins pitching matchup tonight from Target Field. We'll be right back. our expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Chrysler, hurry in for a great deal at the Chrysler Incredible Sales Event.
And Tigers offensively will go up against the Minnesota Twins' best starter this evening. That would be Jose Barrios. This guy checks in 4-4 with a 4.05. The numbers are really good, but in his career, he hasn't been good at all against the Tigers. He's going to throw a lot of fastballs, 64 to 65%, because he wants to get to that breaking ball.
After a short break, we'll check into the Call Sam studios with John King and Craig Monroe. Stay with us. Lineups first pitch coming up. In Minneapolis, Ron Gardenhire back home as the Tigers and the Twins go at it here in Game 1 in this 3-game series. The starting lineup for the Tigers tonight presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. As Keats alluded to, some changes tonight. Martinez leading off, but Castellanos batting second. Vemart hitting third, and John Hicks will clean up. Nico Goodrum is at third base tonight. McCann will catch. Your bottom three features Jones, Iglesias, and Machado. Jose Barrios tonight is presented by Jeff Glover and Associates Realtors.
Barrios has a fastball that goes anywhere from 92 to 96 miles an hour, depending on whether it's the four-seam fastball or the two-seam fastball. He also has a wipeout slider, curveball that he gets lots of strikeouts on, and he'll throw that pitch every time he gets ahead in the count. But he will throw you a fastball first pitch most of the time.
So the 23-year-old native of Puerto Rico is set to go to work. Gardy is marching up and down the bench already. Got to be an exciting night for him, coming back as the skipper of the Tigers here tonight.
Yeah, last time he came back with the Arizona Diamondbacks last year, he was the bench coach. So it's different when you come back in charge.
Here we go. The first pitch is swung on and missed by Martin.
I think that's going to be the game plan of the Tigers all night long. About 83% of the time, whether you are a right-handed batter or a left-handed batter, Barrios will throw you a fastball. He's not afraid to throw his heater.
Leonis was 0 for 12 in the series in Seattle, coming off the disabled list with a hamstring problem.
He came off on Friday and failed to get a hit in Seattle. Berrios has gone ahead 0-2.
Not sleepless in Seattle, hitless in Seattle.
Hitless in Seattle. And a wave and a miss, and down he goes. 3 pitches, 1 out here in the first inning.
And let's take a look at the Minnesota Twins starting defense in the outfield. They've got some guys that can really cover some ground. Rosario and Buxton and Kettler really take a backseat to no trio as far as defense is concerned. Escobar, Adrianza, Dozier, Morris, and Garver, the remaining defensive members of the Minnesota Twins this evening.
Byron Buxton has been on the DL with migraines. He has since returned to their lineup. Castellanos hammers one to center field. Buxton is on the move, still going back to the wall and gone. To dead center field, a home run for Nicholas Castellanos, and the Tigers have a 1-0 lead. He wasn't waiting around, then he drilled one to center, number 5 on the year for Nicholas.
Well, Nicholas just watched Berrios throw 3 straight fastballs right by Leonis Martin, and he really wasn't having any of that. He jumped on the first thing that he saw. It's a fastball, top of the strike zone at 94. He killed it.
Team high 25th RBI as well.
Nicholas has 5 homers this year. 3 of those have come on the first pitch of the at-bat. So he's not waiting around. He's aggressive.
Here is Victor Martinez batting in the 3 slot. He'll look at strike 1 from Berrios.
Berrios' last start against the Milwaukee Brewers, he threw 14 straight fastballs in the very first inning to start that game. Did not throw a breaking ball, and he's not thrown a breaking ball yet.
Another heater at 94, fouled straight back by Vimart.
I guess you would call that the definition of coming out and establishing your fastball.
Well, Castellanos took one of those fastballs and deposited that ball over the center field wall.
Yeah, he did.
Now the 0-2. Victor backs out of there, the first one with a wrinkle into it.
It's only the 8th home run that Berrios has given up this year.
Ooh, that almost hit Victor, who had to dance out of the way. Well, we're almost there, but if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the Tiger box to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. We are a third of the way there thanks to Nicholas. Here's the 2-2. Full count now, 3-2. That one just missed. 95 right at the knees, but a tad inside. Ron Gardenhire, Steve Little, a lot of guys making their return here to Minneapolis tonight. That's in the air toward right center field, and it's going to be Buxton to run it down. 2 gone. It'll bring up John Hicks. Hicks homered in yesterday's game, a 2-run shot early, and for the rest of the day, that was all of the Tigers' offense. 5 homers now for Hicks, a .302 batting average.
Yeah, that's a gut-wrenching loss yesterday in Seattle for the boys. And Seattle snatched that one from the Tigers real late in the game.
Tigers dropped 3 out of 4 in that series against Seattle, despite no-hit stuff from Liriano yesterday.
Yeah, Liriano was sensational in yesterday's game, pitching 8 innings for the first time in 3 years.
Speaking of returns to Minnesota, Liriano as well.
There's a lot of guys down there with returns to Minnesota ties.
Got him, strike 3. Hicks caught looking, and that is it for the Tigers. Second strikeout, Berrios. However, Nick Castellanos gives the Tigers an early edge. Dead center, homer number 5. It's 1-0. lead. Blaine Hardy will take them out. Presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Blaine making his second career start in the major leagues. He made one against Seattle just a few days ago. Overall in 5 games this year, .338 ER for Blaine. He's got all 4 pitches: fastball, curve, slider, and a changeup.
And here is Brian Dozier to get things started now for the Twins. Twins again without a couple of their key cogs. Sano is on the DL, so is Mauer. There's a strike called.
Yeah, you always want to throw Brian Dozier on the outer third of home plate. He is a dead pull hitter. He has lots of power to left field, even though he's having a very slow year this year so far.
Dozier has hit 20 career home runs against the Tigers, and it seems like we can remember every single one of them.
That's why they said when we got here he's struggling. He's not swinging the bat very well. I told them, well, talk to me in 3 days.
We'll see. Dozier looks at a ball inside.
Because he has torched Tigers pitching in his career. And sometimes, man, it don't matter what your numbers are. When you see the team coming that you know you got good numbers against, for whatever reason, you just have better at bats. Ooh, nice pitch.
Dozier in the throws of an 0 for 15 slump, and beyond that 1 for 21. And Hardy just missed. Now run the count full 3-2.
Dozier was out taking some early batting practice today, and he was hitting off of a curveball machine, so he must be having some issues with off-speed stuff.
Fouled straight back.
And Kepler, the on-deck hitter, trying to get a real good look at what Blaine Hardy is featuring. He's nowhere close to the on-deck circle. He's almost directly behind home plate, trying to steal a good look to see what Blaine is featuring.
Popped him up. Shallow right field. It's Castellanos coming in. Machado is under it, and Dixon will make the play. Rest of the Twins lineup, you saw Dozier, Kepler, and Escobar to follow. Then Rosario, Garver, and Morrison in the middle. Grossman batting 7th. Adrianza and Buxton, and they are presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Kepler is in the 2 slot in this one, and he has not been bothered at all by left-handed pitching, despite the fact that he's a left-handed batter. .342 versus lefties this year, and he looks at ball 1.
He's also hit 3 homers against lefties. It's one of the things that he said he wanted to improve on in the offseason. He wanted to get better against left-handed pitching.
Pops this one straight up, literally. Hardy is coming under it, but he's going to be called off. Who wants it? Look out. Blaine makes the catch.
He called it all the way, I think.
I know, but typically you'll see that third baseman who is standing right there make the play.
And Oakland University brings you the Tigers starting defense. In the outfield, they go Jacoby Jones, they go Leonis Martin, and Nicholas Castellanos in right field, who's already homered in this game. And Goodrum, Iglesias, Machado, Hicks, McCann round out the remainder of the defensive alignment.
Nico has been all over the place this year, and he's at third base tonight. Tigers still waiting for the return of Jeimer Candelario. We've talked a lot about Miggy being out and Martin being out. Candelario is a big missing piece as well.
He was taking a lot of batting practice today on the field, and he looked pretty good swinging the bat. So I think whenever his scheduled day to come off the disabled list, we're probably going to see Jeimer.
Escobar the batter here with 2 outs. Eduardo is hitting .285. Swing and a miss.
You were speaking of Nico Goodrum. He spent 6 years in the Minnesota Twins organization. He was in the big leagues last year in the month of September with them. And a lot of the current players on the Minnesota team he's played with in the minors. So it's sort of a homecoming for Nico as well.
Jeimer chomping at the bit to get back into the lineup for the Tigers. Here's the 1-2. Escobar has hit well against the Tigers in his career. In his last 7, 10 RBIs versus the Detroiters. There's a little pop-up. Shallow into right field for Castellanos, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Blaine Hardy. We'll Go to the second. Big money encounters. See how the Tigers have done here the last 20 meetings at Target.
Yeah, they've walked around here like it's been a home game for their squad. A 3.72 ERA for the Tigers, a 5 ERA for Minnesota. Minnesota 19 errors. Did you see that? 19 errors in 20 games.
It's a lot of miscues. And for the Tigers, Nico Goodrum leads it off. It'll be Goodrum, then McCann, and then Jacoby Jones.
As a hitter, you love to go up against guys like Berrios. They throw you lots of fastballs.
Popped up. This heads back to the seats and out of play. Nico has hit safely in 8 out of 9. Had his 8-gamer come to an end in Seattle yesterday. 2 out of 12 in that series. But overall this year has provided a little bit of a spark. He's hit a couple of big home runs. He took Paxton deep in Detroit.
Stolen some bases as well.
Had a big homer in Chicago early in the year to help the Tigers come back from a deficit to win. Pretty good. One of 2 rookies with 10 or more extra base hits, RBIs, and 5 steals. Pounded foul, and that one will smart.
I told you Berrios will throw you lots of breaking balls. You see the grip and how he gets on top of that ball and really spins it.
Right up his thigh.
I know.
Berrios, only 23 years old. In fact, he made his major league debut at the tender age of 21 a couple of seasons ago. They're still waiting for the return of Irvin Santana, who had elbow surgery. That'll miss high and away, and he certainly is a key cog in their rotation, even though they did add some pieces in the offseason.
Lance Lynn has not pitched well for them. They were hoping to get more out of Lance Lynn, who they signed very late.
Goodrum out of there. 3 strikeouts already now for Berrios, and Nico says, I don't think that was a strike. Time for the Bernstein advantage. Well, you talk about James McCann walking in here and facing Berrios. He's licking his chops right now.
Well, 5 for 8 and with a couple of doubles, 2 home runs, and 7 RBI. I don't think for one moment that Berrios does not know those numbers as well.
Mac batting .270, 3 homers. Ball 1. 2 out of 12 in the series against the Seattle Mariners for McCann. 6 career home runs against the Twins. His first one ever came here. And a strike called on the check swing, 1-1.
And Tigers need to get ready to hit that fastball the same way that Nicholas Castellanos was ready to hit it. He throws it about 65, 66% of the time. He's not like a lot of starters in the big leagues these days.
Big wave there by McCann.
The curveball is wicked. It's one of the best curveballs in the sport. And he throws it very hard.
Popped up. Right side of the infield. Dozier calling. 2 gone.
Here's what the opposition does on Barrios curveball. 173 opponent average, and once he gets ahead, he throws that thing a ton.
Barrios in his minor league days was voted as having the best curveball, the best changeup, and the best control in the Twins system as a minor leaguer. We're seeing those skills translate to the big league level, although it has taken a little time. Strike 1 on Jones, who has a look back for Jeff Kellogg. Jeff Kellogg is your crew chief, and he's behind the plate. Hudson, Walcott, and Chad Whitson will round out the 4-man crew. Chop to third, foul right at Dave Clark, who makes a two-handed grab and hands out a souvenir. Very well done. He picked out a Tigers fan.
He sure did.
That's a veteran move by Dave Clark.
You know, something we didn't get a chance to get back to yesterday in yesterday's game.
Swing and a miss.
We'll get there after this next inning.
Down he goes. A 1-2-3 inning for Barrios. That is 4 strikeouts. Rosario will lead it off for the Twins. Inning here is Chevrolet's most dependable. Let's switch it up to most dependable manager. 13 years for Ron Gardenhire here in Minneapolis.
Tremendous manager. He was one of the best in the game for the 13 years that he spent here managing the Minnesota Twins. And it was a team, Mario, that never really spent a lot of money on payroll. I mean, but he got the most out of his squad every year.
When you look at those teams he had, and obviously they changed every year, as Rosario leads it off and pops into shallow right field, it's going to be Martin to run it down. They had, I would call Mauer a superstar back then. They had Morneau, I'd say that. Santana.
And then they had Liriano for a few years early when he was really good.
But beyond that, I mean, they had really good players that played the game hard.
Yes, and they played the Minnesota Twins way. Ron Gardenhire said when he got to the big leagues, the Minnesota Twins team was rebuilding in the same fashion the Tigers team are these days. So he's been through this before. He said the only difference is he knew most of the Minnesota Twins players, right, because he was already working in their minor league system.
Mitch Garver looks at a strike from Hardy.
He had a big smile on his face, did Ron Gardenhire. He knew his team needed that after that gut-wrenching loss yesterday in Seattle.
It'll bounce in, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Blaine Hardy has a fastball that will top out at about 90. He throws a slider about 35% of the time. He's got a curveball and a changeup. And pretty much since we've known Blaine, he's pitched out of the bullpen for the Tigers. It was a wise decision to start him down in the minor leagues. But the question I have for you, Mario, did you think that they thought when they said let's make him a start in the minors, if they thought he'd be starting games in the big leagues?
No, I mean not right now. I don't think at all. That ball popped up. Third base side. Nico is drifting, and he'll get there right up against the wall. 2 away now. Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. No, I don't think so, but you know what? The numbers down there in Toledo were sparkling, actually.
He made them take notice.
ERA sub-1. 4 starts. Here's Logan Morrison, who after a dreadful start has really started to come on now for Minnesota.
So far, all 5 outs that Blaine has gotten have been lazy fly balls, lazy pop-ups.
Playing to pull on the left-handed batting Morrison. Iglesias, Machado, and Hicks on the right side of the infield, with Machado in shallow right. Fouled away.
Logan Morrison hit 38 home runs last year in Tampa.
Well, the Twins probably figured, let's get him. He'll start hitting some home runs in this ballpark, and all he did was start the year 3 for 44. But the month of April turned to May, and May has been a whole lot better for Morrison.
He got a big hit yesterday for the squad against Milwaukee. Game-winning double for Morrison yesterday.
And he is caught looking by Blaine Hardy, and that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. 6 up, 6 down for Blaine. Tigers and the Twins are getting together. Game 1 in this series. Tigers off to a good start with a Castellanos home run in the first off Barrios. And here is Iglesias, then Machado, then Martin. And the Tiger third. Ground ball fair. Inside the bag at third base, right by Escobar. Iggy motoring to second, in with a double.
Iglesias has been swinging the bat very well in the month of May. Now, he knew that Barrios was going to throw him a first pitch fastball because that's pretty much what he's done to everybody. And Iggy just turns on this little two-seamer at about 93 miles an hour right past a diving Escobar for a double. Wouldn't mind if Dixon Machado dropped down the bunt here just to make sure he got Iggy over to third base with just one out.
Machado was 0 for 8 in the series versus Seattle. Dixon showing bunt, looks at a ball. Tied at the corners with Escobar and Morrison at third and first.
The outfield arms of the Minnesota Twins are some of the best in baseball. They've got a well above average arm in left field. That's Rosario. They have a great arm in center field. All Buxton has done is won a gold glove and a platinum glove. He did that last year. And Kepler, the right fielder, has a strong arm too. So Dave Clark, for the next 3 days, will really have his work cut out for him on base hits, determining whether these guys can score or not.
Almost hit him. I think that's why it's important, and we talk about this a lot, how you've got to give Dave Clark every chance to send you home. You got to come to third very aggressively.
Yes, you do, especially against a trio of outfielders like these three.
Leadoff double for Iglesias. Machado up in the count 3-0. And ball 4 inside, so the number 9 hitter gets a walk. 2 on, nobody out. The Tigers take on the White Sox Friday, May 25th at 7:10. Stay after the game for the first post-game fireworks show of the year. If you'd like tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com.
A lot of Tiger fans here in Mini tonight.
Nice night for baseball. Should be good weather these 3 days, although they are calling for some rain in the final game of the series.
And Martin needs to shorten his swing up a little bit.
Bunted foul.
And since he has come off the disabled list, he has swung and missed a lot at fastballs, and a lot of the fastballs he's swung right through. His swings have been very aggressive. He's already an aggressive hitter, but before he went on the DL, he had a really good swing going.
Doesn't appear the hamstring is bothering him because we've seen him run pretty good.
Yeah, he got down the line yesterday. He bunted and he got down the line. Even though he was out, he got down the line in just a shade under 4 seconds.
Pickoff throw, not a good one. And Iglesias dives back in. Tigers got a run in the first of the homer by Castellanos, now threatening here in the third. Double and a walk.
For as good as Barrios' stuff is, he does not have good numbers against the Tigers since he's come to the big leagues. They've hit him hard, and he's walked a lot of people.
This looks like a double play ball here. 6-4 and a 3. And Iglesias will go to third base. 2 gone.
Take a look at Iglesias here. This is him trying to disrupt the attention of the shortstop, Adrianza, on this sharply hit ground ball. Look at Iggy. He knows it's going to be double play ball, so he tries to jump right over it, and he just tries to impede, instruct, get in his way, I guess.
Perfectly legal. It'll make it more difficult for the shortstop.
Adrianza still picked it like it was nothing, though, didn't he?
He did. Well, now Castellanos with 2 outs and a runner at third.
That's tough right there.
Meanwhile, for Martin, he is now 0 for his last 14. Nick shoots it back up the middle into center again. On the first pitch, he'll knock in a run with a 2-out hit.
Wise decision today to put Nicholas Castellanos in that number 2 spot for the first time this year. They wanted the ball in. You can see where Garver's glove is, and the ball does not get in, and Nicholas Castellanos hits a seed right back up the middle. That's 2 balls hit right on the butt today for Nick.
26 RBIs for Castellanos. Team high. 2-0 Tigers. Here is Victor Martinez.
Nick's off to a huge day and picked the stick. That's 8 points right there so far for Nicholas. Here's Nicholas Castellanos on swinging at the first pitch. 50%. Second in the majors to Javi Baez of the Chicago Cubs.
Now the opponent knows those numbers, so it's kind of surprising they wouldn't throw one in the dirt or something outside of the strike zone against him.
Yeah, I would think that as they start to digest those numbers a little bit closer. I'm sure Molitor will look at it after this game is over because he hurt him with a home run his first time up, first pitch, and another base hit first pitch. So I'm sure they might look at it afterwards and adjust.
Victor pops it up foul, out of play.
To be perfectly honest with you, though, Mario, there are so many numbers nowadays for the coaching staffs to digest. I'm sure there's some numbers that just going to sneak through on some guys. You know what I mean?
It's got to be. Yeah, there is an awful lot, but I think sometimes when you watch a guy over and over, like we have seen Castellanos, we know he is aggressive early on. So the eye test will point those things out, but there are only so many numbers you can digest. And I've had managers tell me that, and I'm sure you have as well. You get all the information every day, but there's only so much the brain can handle. Runner goes and is fouled away.
Barrios already up to 40 pitches. 26 strikes, 14 balls for the young 23-year-old Puerto Rican.
Martinez flying to right field in his first at bat.
Victor has great career numbers in this ballpark. Really good career numbers against Minnesota.
Line drive right at the first baseman, Morris.
Oh, Lord, get the Mary Pin off the infield.
A bullet. Morris had threw his glove up, and it landed in it. to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Chrysler. Hurry in for a great deal at the Chrysler Incredible Sales Event. We're at Target Field tonight. Tigers have a 2-0 lead on Minnesota. This is game 1 in this 3-game series before the Tigers head back home for a nice homestand. Robbie Grossman batting .232 stands in and skies one in the air towards shallow right.
Another pop-up.
Castellanos is camping under it and 1 gone, and that's 7 straight retired by Blaine. We say hi now to Mickey York.
All right, Mario, thank you. I'm in the heart of the Blaine Hardy cheering section. His wife, Nikki, is from Perm, Minnesota, about 3 hours north of here. How many did you bring down with you?
We have 10 here today.
How do you handle it when Blaine is on the mound?
Some shaky hands.
You don't seem too bad.
Yeah, well, we're kind of used to seeing this, but in a starting role, it's completely different, totally different beast.
I thought they had him there.
I did.
He says when he starts, he's actually more relaxed than he is when he's coming out of the bullpen. How about you?
At the AAA level, I was totally, but like I said, I got the shakes today.
Why? Just because he's starting?
Yeah, it's a completely different beast. Like, he started in AAA and he was incredible, and so far he's been doing really great with the Tigers, starting as well. But like, it's just a little bit more nerve-wracking. You've got a big stadium, lots of people, lots of family. It's just a lot going on.
We hear that you two have quite the fierce battle when it comes to World of Warcraft. Is that true?
It is true. So I am a druid, and Blaine plays the hunter, and typically we actually don't battle. We team up and like go raid and all that kind of stuff. He likes to do battlegrounds. I'm not a big fan of that, but it's okay. We can't all be perfect.
I'm sure all the kids at home know exactly what you're talking about. You were just speaking a foreign language to me, though. I don't know anything about that. Who tends to get the better of whom, though, when it comes to World of Warcraft?
Blaine is definitely the damage producer. I actually do more of the heals, and so Blaine, he can go and do all that damage.
Well, he's trying to limit the damage on the mound here today. That's the idea, of course, as we enjoy Blaine Hardy's second career start here from the Blaine Hardy cheering section at Target Field. Mario, Rob.
All right, Mick, thanks. I did not understand a word of that, did you?
Yeah, I understood it.
Yeah, those games, man, it's just hard for me to keep up with those. Well, Blaine now trying to pitch around a 1-out double by Adrianza. Byron Buxton is up there. Ooh, shattered bat and a ground ball foul, and a new bat will be needed now by Buxton.
And Buxton must use one of those cupped bats that are hollow at the out toward the bat head. And every now and then, if you hit one right off the end of the bat, it will do exactly as it did there. You can see it right there. Good look at it. And the reason why they do that to the bats is that some of the guys want the bats to be a little heavier, but then you cut it out at the top, and then that lightens the bat a little bit, but yet you still have some really good condensed wood. For those of you at home that did not know that.
Buxton looks at a ball high, 2-2.
I don't know what in the world is wrong with this cat here, Mario. This guy usually struggles at the beginning of the season like he is right now, but the second half of the year, the last 2 years, he's been the best player in baseball.
Well, if he doesn't figure it out, it's going to be a long summer for the Twins.
A wealth of talent.
They need him. Buxton has been suffering from migraines. He missed 20 games on the DL, and since coming back has not really been able to put it together now. He did not go on a rehab, so he's still, as Paul Molitor said, trying to find his timing.
He continues to swing at the fastballs up at the top strike zone. That's where Blaine just went. He was able to get a piece of that, and if he's not swinging at that, if you go downstairs, he most definitely will swing at that one.
Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Downstairs. See you later, Buxton. 2 gone.
Went upstairs on the previous pitch, and he was able to foul that one off. And then Blaine went right back downstairs with that circle changeup, coming off the fingertips ever so slightly with a nice fade to it.
Brian Dozier now with 2 outs. He popped up in his only at bat 0 for 1. Hardy has allowed only 1 hit. The double by Adrianza here in the 3rd. Tigers a run in the 1st and the homer by Castellanos, a run in the 3rd on a 2-out single by Nick. Dozier watches one dive in for a strike.
That's a good pitch. And Blaine Hardy can command all of his off-speed pitches, whether it be the curve or the slider. He's got the changeup. He'll show you the fastball. We told you his top fastball about 90, 91. How about that first pitch strikes department for Blaine Hardy today? 9 of 10. That is a wonderful recipe for a whole lot of success up here.
Hardy had a 10-pitch second. He got a 1-2-3 in each of the first 2 innings. Trying to give that Tiger rotation a lift. They have had some injuries as well. Zim's still on the DL. Fouled away now, 1-2 on Dozier.
And Ron Gardenhire said yesterday in Seattle when he was talking to the media that Miguel Cabrera would take some early batting practice tomorrow here on the field in Minnesota.
It's been a while since we have seen Miggy in a ball game.
Yeah, he left with a tender hamstring, right?
Yep. Then back problems kind of crept in as he was rehabbing. 2-2 on Dozier.
And remember, you do not want to throw Dozier anything inside. He's a dangerous pull hitter, regardless of what his numbers say as far as the batting average is concerned. That's what he likes to do. He likes to pull the baseball.
Full count, 3-2.
Yeah, stay out there.
Seven homers this year for Dozier, but all of them have been hit on the road. He has not homered at home this season. Swing and a miss. Dozier is down, and so are the Twins. No runs, they get a double and strand a man. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Pastime.
Energy, know your own power. Tonight it was Nicholas Castellanos getting the Tigers on the board first with a solo shot, but yesterday In Seattle, it was John Hicks with a 2-run shot in the very first inning against Wade LeBlanc, who started for the Seattle Mariners.
Hicks will get things started here for the Tigers. It'll be Hicks, Goodrum, and McCann facing Barrios, and he popped him up. First pitch swinging, and that'll be the shortstop Adrianza, one gone. Hicks 0 for 2.
After really starting just about every single hitter off with fastballs through the first 3 frames, Barrios started him off with an off-speed pitch, and you could tell that John was looking for that fastball, and he just couldn't hold up on it. That's what your really great hitters are able to do in the big leagues. I mean, your really great hitters is if they're looking for a fastball, no doubt looking for a fastball, they don't swing at breaking balls, especially breaking balls that are good pitches for the pitcher. And that's why they're great hitters.
Nico struck out in the second.
I mean, those are your guys that are getting 2,000 hits in their career, 2,500 hits in their career.
Paul Molitor got a few in his career. A storied career here with the Minnesota Twins as their manager now. And that is rolled foul. Swing and a miss. He chased up top.
I want to go back to a play yesterday, and we didn't know it was going to be a huge play at the time, but it turned out to be a big play. McCann would hit a double, what we thought, down the left field line, but he missed first base, so he couldn't go any further. Iggy would later double. McCann would be sent home by Dave Clark and thrown out at home plate. Very close play, and I'm not blaming James McCann for this by any stretch of the imagination. I would like to talk about Dave Clark at third base because, in my opinion, that was the right play to send him home. I'm thinking that that's what you have to do in that situation. You're trying to score one more run, and that's exactly what Ron Gardner said. Ron Gardner said he would have been disappointed had Dave Clark not sent James McCann home. And as far as McCann, that happens. People miss bases from time to time.
Well, and you also have to believe that if you have a chance to score a run, more times than not, I think you have to take that chance, force the defense to make the good throw, and they did.
Absolutely.
And that's just the footprint of this Tigers team. They're going to try and score more times than not, be very aggressive. They have done that all year, and they feel that's how they have to play to win games.
I love the aggressiveness that this 2018 team is playing with.
That play by Escobar. Diving to his left, and he robs McCann of a hit. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers in the fourth. Little help there from Eduardo Escobar. younger and younger, and Juan Soto, Nationals #2 prospect, 362 in the minors this year, and well,
19 years old.
It's amazing.
That kid Ronald Acuna just got to the big leagues a couple of weeks ago. He's just 20, right?
Right. And what was Trout? Trout was 19.
Trout was 19 when he got there.
Kepler leads it off for the Twins.
And be careful with him. He's a real good performer against left-handed pitching. Quite frankly, he was told by his manager, if you want to be an everyday player, you got to get better against left-handers or you're going to be a platoon player. And boy, did he get better against lefties.
Kepler's the right fielder, but he does have the ability and skill to play center field. In fact, he filled in for Byron Buxton in center when Byron was on the DL. Played 13 games in center field. Oh, right at the chinny chin.
And their outfielders have a saying, Rosario, Buxton, and Kepler, that that's close. When they're playing outfield, they said the only thing that drops in the outfield is rain when they're out there. That's it.
I like it. Here's the 2-2. Hit well to left field. It's going to be playable though. Jacoby will haul it in. One away. We say hi again to Mickey York.
Hi guys, on the roof deck here at Target Field, they say it's 91.4 feet from the playing surface. As a guy who's afraid of heights, I'd say it's a lot further, but I figured this is the best view to get of Ron Gardenhire's return here to Minnesota. He was a very popular man during his pregame media session here this afternoon. Of course, he still lives here during the off season. He said it was great last night to spend a night in his own bed, but I asked him if coming back here still made him feel a little bit like a Minnesota Twin. He said, look, I'm the manager of the Tigers now, but there's no question this organization runs through my blood. It's where I came up. It's where I learned to coach. It's where I learned to manage. And it's where he learned to implement several of the things he's implementing now as manager of the Tigers. And he said, but make no mistake about it, I'm here to beat the pants off these guys. And so far, so good in Ron Gardenhire's return to Minnesota, guys.
How'd you get up there? Helicopter?
There is an elevator, thank goodness. I'm not rappelling down. I talked to these little kids here. I said, this is a little high, isn't it? Aren't you guys afraid? They're like, no, mister. What's wrong with you?
Hey, Mick, what do you think of the yard overall? This is one of our favorites.
You know what? I think it's spectacular. It's one of my favorites as well. I was going to ask you guys about that. You know, we were lucky enough to be in Safeco Field, which is one of the top parks in the league as well. I think this is definitely within my top 5 around Major League Baseball.
Well, I'm disappointed you didn't take the stairs up there, Mick, but that's okay next time.
Sorry, I hit the gym earlier today. My cardio's good.
Attaboy. All right, thanks, Mick. Yeah, this really is one of the jewels around the American League, and he's right, man. We had Safeco Field for 4 days, now Target Field here.
Yeah.
Very nice place to visit.
And what makes it a little bit better, too, is that we get a chance to stay in the downtown area. And
right.
The downtowns are just really nice. You can walk anywhere you want to go.
And you know what else is good is they actually bring you food to the press box.
Well, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing.
Here is Rosario. 1-out single by Escobar.
And we talked about Rosario in our open today. He's only 25 years old, but this guy is really coming into his own. He had a great year in 2015, took a step back in 2016, but the last couple of years, 2017 up to now, he's been a really nice performer, and he's what you call a 5-tool player. He hits for average, he hits for power, he can run, he can throw, and he's a really good defender.
Physically, you look at him, you don't think 27 home runs, but that's as many as he hit last year. There's a strike called on Rosario.
A couple of years ago, he had 15 assists from the outfield. He had 16 triples.
Blaine is up to 50 now. 34 strikes. He's been very good so far tonight. Twins this year have been a little bit of a disappointment to the hometown fans. They're 9-11 at home, sub 500, and for teams that are going to contend, you certainly have to take care of business at home. That is popped in the air to center field. Shallow. Martin coming in. And Rosario is out 2 away. Well, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Oakland University.
Blaine Hardy has done a masterful job so far tonight keeping these hitters off balance with a good mixture of fastballs and changeups and curveballs.
That last swing by Rosario seemed like it was a bit off balance. Lizzie fly ball to center field.
He's really been doing a nice job of disrupting their timing.
Mitch Garver, the catcher, stands in. Slap down the right field line. It's going to get down. Castellanos cuts it off. Escobar going to third. They'll stop him there. And now first and third for the Twins.
And Garver, the first one on his team today to get on top of that ball that Hardy is featuring and hit a seed down the right field corner. It's a nice job by Nicholas Castellanos to cut that ball off and to make sure that the run didn't score. Nick got a pretty good jump, took a direct route, got that ball back in a hurry.
Nice job there by Castellanos. Here's Morrison. Each ball club now with 3 hits. Just missed 1-0 on Morrison. Hardy has given up a double and 2 singles. Tying runs on now for the Twins. Fouled away, 1-1. Twins last year won 11 and lost 8 to the Tigers, so Minnesota won the season series. In fact, Twins have won 7 of their last 8 against the Tigers. In there, a strike call. Morrison doesn't like it as he beefs out of the box.
And Jeff Kellogg is the home plate umpire and also the crew chief. It's a nice job with that glove by McCann. You saw him ever so slightly. Once he grabbed that ball, he just kind of pulled it right back down in the strike zone. That's a nice job of handling the glove by James. He stole that strike right there, and Morrison doesn't appreciate it. But Lord knows we saw enough of that in Seattle with Zunino.
Here's the 1-2. Popped up. Back to the seats it goes, out of play.
Here's our Xfinity, a high-speed pitch on Blaine Hardy. We told you he tops out at 90. That's exactly what he has done today. He's topped out at 90. 76 with either the curveball or the changeup. Usually guys' fastballs stay right around the velocity of 89 to 90, depending on how hard they throw. Doesn't vary too far as the miles per hour are concerned. But the breaking pitches, they vary from 5 to 5 miles per hour.
Morrison would not bite. The count levels now 2-2. Morrison last year 38 home runs, 85 RBIs for the Rays. Big league time as well with Seattle and the Marlins. High ball 3.
Yeah, Rays regroup, man. They traded Longoria. Souza Jr. went to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Morrison.
Yeah, they traded a lot of people, a lot of power hitters too. They were swinging and missing too much. They wanted to have a different approach this year. They wanted to put the ball in play more. So all those guys that hit all the home runs last year in Tampa, they're playing other places now.
3-2 is rolled foul.
Yeah, speaking of the Tampa Rays, they started a relief pitcher, Romo. Back-to-back days against the, who was it? The
Angels?
Angels. Back-to-back days. That analytics stuff, man, is going way. It's just
changing the game.
Yeah, it's getting,
Sergio Romo closed down the 2012 World Series versus the Tigers.
Yep. He started back-to-back days against the Halos.
Swing and a miss. Morrison is out of there. Struck him out. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. Blaine Hardy pitching out of a jam.
The Tigers, you see the face guard on his helmet. Well, that all really got started here. Last April 22nd, he was hit in the face by a pitch from Justin Healy. It required 9 stitches to close the cut on his lips, sent him to the DL. He's been wearing the face guard ever since. He told me earlier today he'd really like to see everybody in the major leagues start wearing it. And Ron Mario might not be long before that's the case, because we're seeing it more and more throughout the game today.
Well, I know that I would wear it, Mick. Guys are throwing way too hard these days. I mean, they had a cat in the game throw a ball 105 miles an hour yesterday. That's just ridiculous to me. I can't even fathom that. I mean, why wouldn't you wear it?
Well, you know, all the Seattle players seemingly have jumped on board. A lot of their guys were wearing it in the last 4 days in Seattle. I agree. I mean, I've never stood in a batter's box against a guy throwing, you know, whatever they throw today, 95 to 100, 105 now, but man,
you can't even see it.
No. Jones has that extra protection, and some of the other Tigers have followed suit. I know Cabrera wears it.
Well, there's a lot of guys in the big leagues these days. I bet you about 50 to 60% of the position players are wearing it. And I don't think it's going to be long before everybody starts to wear it.
Here's the 3-1. 3-2 on Jacoby. Iglesias and then Machado to follow. Bottom 3 against Barrios. Jones fan back in the second. And a swing and a miss to get him again. 6 strikeouts for Barrios. Tigers face the White Sox Saturday, May 26th at 4:10. The first 10,000 fans get a free Al Kaline 1968 50th anniversary bobblehead. If you'd like tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com. Got a big bobblehead collection?
Not a huge,
no,
not a huge bobblehead collection.
Here's Iglesias. That's a strike call. Iggy doubled and scored with 2 outs in the third when Castellanos came up with a clutch 2-out hit.
You know what's going on tomorrow night, though, don't you?
Here?
Yeah. Star Wars.
Oh, no. No.
We catch a couple of those a year. It's a third of the year already.
It's a third. Now the 0-2, and it bounces in 1-2.
Barrios, when he struck out Jones with that curveball, it was 82 miles an hour. He goes anywhere from 80 to 86 with his curveball, so he gives you a variation of different speeds, and he throws it extremely hard. He's pitching pretty well here today, other than Nicholas Castellanos has gotten him a couple times.
Shallow left field for Rosario. 2 gone in the 5th inning. Six strikeouts for Barrios. Really, Nick, the only man that's done any damage with the homer and the single. Here's Machado, who walked, but was erased on a double play back in the 3rd.
Barrios has struck out as many as 11 this year. He did that earlier this season. He also has punched out 10. He struck out 10 in his last outing against St. Louis.
Career high is 11 strikeouts that you mentioned. Came this year, and so Barrios trying to get to that mark here tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's really started to incorporate that curveball a lot more the last couple of frames. Barrios, one of them old school cats with his wind up over the top. So many guys nowadays don't have a lot of moving parts, just kind of hold the glove still. They take the ball out of the glove and throw it, but he has the high leg kick, takes the hands over the head. 6 feet, 198 pounds, out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico.
Oh, ugly swing there by Machado, who is tied up. 7 strikeouts for Barrios. Rod back here at the ballpark. Blaine Hardy getting the call here tonight, Rod. He's looked really good.
Well, he really has. I mean, this is only his 2nd major league start. He's pitching in front of a lot of family and friends in attendance here. His wife is from this area, and he's done a very nice job against Minnesota, keeping guys off balance. Lots of soft contacts, lots of pop-ups today.
And also Nicholas Castellanos, a couple of key hits, but maybe the hit he had his 2nd time up with 2 outs to the big one.
Hughes, that base hit right back up the box on the very first pitch of the at-bat. Nicholas loves to swing at the first pitch.
So the Tigers take that 2-0 lead into the bottom of the 5th. Grossman, Adrianza, and Buxton
Hardy, even though he is in a starting role these days, he has pitched so much out of the bullpen that he feels much more comfortable in the stretch, even though there's no one on base. And you'll see a lot of relievers like that turn to starters or get spot starts. They will simply work from their comfort level, which is pitching out of the stretch, because most of the time they come in the game, there's runners on base.
Well, it's to the point now where you're even seeing starters who have minimized their delivery to the plate almost to a stretch.
Yeah, they almost look like it's a stretch.
Grossman flied out to right field 0 for 1. Two and 2 on the Minnesota TH. Grossman. .229 this year. He's not hit 13. Drill to left, base hit. Out of the reach of a leaping Iglesias. Leadoff single for Minnesota in the 5th.
And that's a fastball that pretty much splits the plate. And Robbie Grossman wasn't going to let him throw that ball over the heart of the dish. Great effort by Iglesias, but that ball was hit hard. And pitch usage tonight for Hardy. He has used the slider and the fastball quite a bit today, and the changeup.
Twins now have 4 hits. Popped up bunt. Thank you very much. One gone. Adrianza's out of there.
It's a good idea, but anytime you want to bunt for a base hit, you have to pretty much stay in that batter's box. If your feet are still moving, usually the barrel of that bat's going to drop at the last second, and that's why guys pop the baseball up. They don't stay stable with their lower half of the batter's box.
Here is Buxton.
When's the last time you saw a pitcher with a couple of putouts?
That's a good point. Buxton skies this one to shallow left. Jones under it, 2 gone. Yeah, Blaine has caught a pop-up and now the bunt. A couple of quick outs there for Hardy. Here's Dozier.
We were talking about Dozier a little earlier, and the fact that he's always been a really good performer. He won a Gold Glove last year, as a matter of fact, at second base, but this year he is struggling. He is a free agent after this year is over, and for whatever reason, there's just times where guys that are going to be pending free agents, for whatever reason, they put a lot of pressure on themselves in that year, and sometimes they just can't get out of their own way.
Yeah, I think the reason is human nature. They feel that they certainly need to have a big year leading up to the free agent year, although last year wasn't a big year for free agent, was it?
No, it was not. It was chilly out there for the free agents a season ago. A couple of years ago, he was rumored to be traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. That trade never ever materialized.
All right, so Dozier the last 2 years has had home run seasons of 34 and 42, but his batting average was in the 260s. So does he have the ability to go the other way a little bit more and be not so pull happy and have a higher average?
He would be a much better performer. The RBI production would go way up. But that pitch right there, he just will not take that ball the other way. He just won't do it, even though it's a wide open hole on the right side of the infield. For whatever reason, he just won't do it. I mean, that last pitch could have gone there very easily, but he's looking to turn on something. Don't give it to him, Blaine.
Stayed out there again and missed. 2-2.
Now, we have seen in the past that he will finally drive a ball in that direction, but not very often.
Hey, there it goes. He loops one to right field, base hit. Grossman is on his way to third. He's going to second. Dozier dives in with a looping double to right field. And take that, he says.
Well, he made the adjustment. I mean, Blaine Hardy threw every single pitch outside, every single pitch. And give Dozier some credit because he finally, this ball was off the plate, I believe. We're going to get one more look at it. But this ball is off the plate outside. I mean, that's 4 inches off the plate. And he finally makes an adjustment because he knows beyond a shadow of a doubt they're going to go back out there, and he gets himself a little bloop double down the right field line. Give him credit.
And the Twins now have the tying runs in scoring position. Kepler looks at ball 1 high. Pop up and a fly ball 0 for 2 for Kepler, who came in batting .342 versus lefties. Sends one high in the air and deep to right field. Way back, Castellanos looks up, and that ball is gone. No, it's off the wall. It is in play. It's going to go as a double. 2 runs in to tie the game. Right off the top of the wall for Kepler.
No player in baseball have raised their average as much against left-handed pitching this year as Kepler has. He's batting 200 points higher this year than he was against lefties. And you can see he's been working on that launch angle swing like so many other guys in the big leagues. That ball was up in the air forever. I thought initially when he hit it, it was going to be a home run, but it didn't carry out.
I think Blaine Hardy thought the same thing. He just dropped his head. 2-out, 2-run double to tie the game at 2. There's a line drive, base hit to left. Kepler rounding third. Jones up with it. Airmails it to the plate, and he's safe at home plate. Escobar goes to second on the play, and it's 3-2 Minnesota. A bang-bang play at home plate.
And it looked like Kepler got right past the tag before McCann was able to swipe back. But apparently the Tigers want to see it.
And they're going to take a shot here. Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire, was right on it. Boy, Jacoby came with fire in that thing. And
yeah, he did. He threw a ball. He airmailed the cutoff man, but that's okay. Well, it's not okay. The runner's in scoring position, but he made a bid to throw him out.
Tigers challenging the call on the field, which was safe at home plate. Probably your best look right there.
Ooh. Did he get him on the right sleeve?
No, here's a better look. Maybe not. Hard to tell when the tag was applied there. If it was. Probably going to be too late on that tag, I think.
Definitely worth the challenge, though.
Sure. As it stands right now, a single for Escobar, an RBI, and he takes second on the throw.
And so far for me, obviously Kepler had the big double, but the biggest at bat was that double down the right field line by Dozier on that ball that was 4 to 5 inches off the plate. He was looking out there. He got the pitch he was looking for and was able to keep it fair.
Hardy, meanwhile, warming up here as this call continues to take a while to look at and dissect. The average, last numbers we saw, the average on challenges was about 1:20, which is, I think, where they want to keep it, inside 1.5 minutes. And now they've got their answer. Out at home plate. Oh, the Tigers win one. much to the chagrin of the fans. So the call is overturned. Jacoby Jones gets an assist. It's a 2-2 ball game.
Second assist of the year, and nice job here by McCann grabbing that ball and catching that right shoulder of Kepler before Kepler got that foot on the bag. McCann recognized that ball was going to be off the line just ever so slightly, so he went up to get it and still was able to apply the swipe tag to Kepler.
So the Tigers dodge a bullet there. It stays a 2-2 game. Top of the order coming up, Martin. Leonis, again, a big swing.
Yeah, already 7 strikeouts today for Barrios.
I am really surprised they overturned that. I mean, that was a tag. I think he definitely tagged him.
I think Martin hurt himself, man. He limped over to grab that that pine tar, walking awfully gingerly back into that batter's box. Guess he's okay.
Seven straight retired by Barrios.
And the one thing I have noticed in this game is Minnesota not shifting nearly as much as some of the other teams in baseball. I think Victor may be the only guy they've really shifted on here today.
Lewis Coleman in the Tigers bullpen. Martin is swinging a miss, 2-2.
He's been doing that a lot since coming off the disabled list. Quite possibly could have used a rehab assignment, maybe a couple games after the fact.
Low ball 3.
That was a changeup by Barrios. Fastball 92 to 96. He's got the really good curveball, and he's got the changeup. Changeup is third best pitch.
Bouncing ball to Dozier at second. Martinez out, 1 away. I think Hardy's done.
I believe he is.
77 pitches for Blaine. And let's see, 2 starts ago he had 79, so he's right in that range. Well, here's a guy that's done all the damage for the Tigers, Castellanos. Homer single, 2 RBIs.
And they have changed their defense now on Castellanos. They now have a man right where he hit his last base hit in Dozier and right up the middle. They didn't defend him that way in his first 2 plate appearances.
Rio started him off with something outside off the plate. Here goes another one, this time Nick Alford. 1 ball, 1 strike on Castellanos. Nick homering in the first inning, his 6th career home run in this yard.
It doesn't matter how many breaking balls Barrios throws you. You've still worked the count into your favor, 2-1. So you still sit on your fastball.
Barrios last year did his best work at home. He was 9-1 at Target with a 2.41 ERA. And he missed outside. 3-1.
I'm getting the feeling that Mr. Barrios doesn't mind if he doesn't have to face Nicholas Castellanos really for the rest of the night. At least give him anything to hit.
95 right there, and he threw it by him. $75 down for Barrios.
And Barrios, one of those guys that, generally speaking, when he falls behind, he's going to give you a fastball. He does not try to trick you.
In the air to shallow center, Byron Buxton coming in. 2 gone. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, it's the Chevy Memorial Day sales event. Start your summer off right in a new Chevrolet. Sun setting here in Minneapolis at Target Field for Game 1 in this 3-game series. Here's Martinez. Victor is 0 for 2. He absolutely scalded a ball in his last at bat right at Morrison at first base. One. Victor 5 out of 11 in that series in Seattle. Homered against James Paxton, one of the few successes the Tigers had against Paxton that night. He went the distance. There's another hard hit ball, but foul. 1-2.
And Victor has hit safely in 18 of his last 20 games. And right here at Target Field.
Now Barrios in search of another 1-2-3 inning. Swing and a miss, and he's got it. 3 straight 1-2-3 innings. He's retired 10 in a row.
The very first frame, Nicholas Castellanos batting second tonight. He touched up Barrios for a solo shot. The next time Nicholas came up in third inning, runner on third, 2 outs, a solid base hit up the middle. This probably should have been a triple right here off the bat of Kepler, but he watched it. He thought it was going to be a home run. He coasted into second base, and that allowed Jacoby Jones to throw him out at home plate trying to score with 2 outs. That's why you run out of the batter's box. There's no doubt in my mind Kepler probably should have been on third. As high as that ball was in the air.
Well, the Tigers go to the bullpen now. Wall side windows change with Lewis Coleman taking over for Blaine Hardy.
Yeah, the veteran right-hander is pitching some really good baseball down in Toledo. He's a veteran. He's been in the big leagues a number of years, most of those with those real good Kansas City Royals bullpens.
Good job by Hardy. 5 innings, 2 runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Coleman has Rosario, Garver, and Morrison here in the bottom of the 6th. Fouled away. Rosario has fly to center field twice. He's hit safely in 5 in a row. Came in at 370 in the month of May. Two and 1.
And Coleman, his fastball about 90 miles an hour, and he's pretty much just fastball slider.
Machado stretching out to take a hit away from Rosario. 1 gone.
And Rosario hit that ball right off the end of the bat. A couple of steps and a dive by Dixon Machado on the outfield grass to snare that liner.
Mitch Garver has a single and 2 at bats, and he lines this one right to Goodrum, 2 away. Couple of line drive outs. See, by the way, Fox Sports Detroit University days are back. It's time to head to Comerica Park and show your school spirit. Special ticket package includes a game ticket, Tigers cap in your school colors, and a donation back to your university. To purchase the package, or if you'd like more information, go to tigers.com and represent your school. Here's Morrison. A tough night so far tonight for Morrison. He struck out twice against Hardy.
And Tigers employed the shift on Logan Morrison.
There it is.
Nico Goodrum playing the shortstop position. Shortstop's his natural position anyway. That's what he was drafted as, Nico Goodrum, in the 2nd round by the Minnesota Twins.
One and 2 on Logan Morrison. It's kind of hard to believe. Here we are on May 21st, and we're seeing the Twins, a divisional opponent, for the very first time.
Right.
We're already done with Seattle.
We've already seen Cleveland a couple of times. We've already seen the Kansas City a few times.
We've done with the interleague opponent, the Pirates.
Yep. And Baltimore.
2 and 2 on Morrison.
Yeah, horrible start to the season. And with his new squad for Logan Morris, 157 in the month of April with 4 extra base hits. He has doubled his output pretty much in 17 games and so far in the month of May. They call him Lomo.
And a swing and a miss. He is struck out for the 3rd time tonight. 1-2-3 inning for Lewis Coleman. Very good questions, both of those. I don't think there's any doubt he will not be in an Orioles uniform next year. It's a matter of when, though.
Yeah, they've got to move him somewhere. And the only question, John, is, I mean, whether he's able to play third base or shortstop with his new team, I guess.
That's into center field. Buxton and Rosario. Rosario cuts in front. Well, I know when Seager went down with the Dodgers, everybody talked about, you know, the Dodgers a possible destination. I don't know if that will materialize.
Well, a lot of people say there's not that many options for shortstop, especially with the big teams. I mean, they're your high payroll team, but there's no doubt that Manny will find a place next year. He is a free agent, and I don't think Baltimore is going to go all season holding on to him and not get anything but a draft choice. That would not be wise.
No. I know the Royals are taking some heat for making a run last year with you know, the players that didn't come back. They eventually lost Hosmer and Kane. Difference being Baltimore, they're out of it.
Yeah.
Royals were actually hanging around last year. Nico fouls it out of play.
Barrios has really settled in. The Tigers have done very little against him the last 4 frames.
11 straight set down by Barrios. Nico straightens up. Goodrum Beck in 2010 was a second-round pick of the Minnesota Twins. 8 years, parts of 8 years in the minor leagues with Minnesota. Got the call-up last year at the end of the season. Strokes on to shallow center. It's going to be Buxton. 2 gone. Timeout for the Ram. Pick the stick update. Mickey York, big night.
Yeah, Mickey picked first today. He took the right guy, and Nicholas Castellanos, and he's the only one on the board here tonight. The only one on the board. Keating doing well just to stay at it with that goose egg. I don't think I've ever seen where everybody had a minus across the board.
No. Well, I'm sure it's happened, but rarely. Mickey, well, Mickey's been pulling up the rear, right, Mick? You've been kind of in last place.
Yeah, but not tonight.
Yeah, he might jump back out. He might jump back out of last. He might jump. He might put me back in last with that 7-point effort tonight.
I told you I came to play tonight, and I wasn't messing around.
You had your eye black on and everything, man. You walk into the booth, you were good to go.
It kind of helps when you get the first pick, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's tough to screw it up, but I've seen guys do it.
1-1 on McCann. Now, McCann was a popular pick because he had good numbers coming into this one against Barrios, but Barrios has gotten him a couple of times. Late swing.
Barrios not afraid to pitch inside. He's already pitched several guys inside with a 92 to 95 mile per hour fastball. We gave you the numbers that Barrios has posted in his career against the Tigers, and they weren't good at all. But every time we see this guy pitch against other teams, he has pitched very well, and we're seeing why he has so much promise here tonight.
Swing and a miss. McCann is on, and Barrios with 13 straight retired in this game. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. And Rod back here at Target Field in Minneapolis. Game 1 of the series. Blaine Hardy, nice job in this ball game tonight, Rod. But Barrios has to be the story, man. He's retired 13 straight now.
Well, he gave him an opening early in the contest. Nicholas with the big home run and the big base hit, but very few Tigers have been able to do anything against this guy. He's got 95 with a real good breaking ball.
Blaine Hardy, meanwhile, certainly did his job today, going 5 strong innings, allowing 2 runs. And the first one is in for a strike. And when you look at what the Tigers now want to accomplish here in Minnesota, they lost 3 out of 4 in Seattle. So these are divisional games now that take on more importance.
Oh, no doubt. And they've also played some outstanding baseball in this particular ballpark. We talked about it earlier. In the last 20 games here, they've won 16 of those meetings. So there's no doubt down in that Tigers dugout, they believe they can come back and win this contest. And they've played that way all year, really. They played a lot of one-run games. They're in another close affair here today.
Well, Nicholas Castellanos with a couple of key hits in this game. The Twins came back on a 2-run double by Kepler in the 5th, and we've been tied since. Robbie Grossman disagreed with that last call.
There's been a couple of guys today that have had a little bit of a beef with Mr. Kellogg.
Coleman trying to give the Tigers a couple of innings in relief here. That'll miss outside, 2-2. Grossman, Adrianza, and Buxton in the 7th for the Twins. Fought that one off, stays alive. Grossman got things started back in the 5th inning with a leadoff single. Three and two. Twins for a while started playing better baseball. They had a 5-game winning streak at the beginning of May. And however, they've come in losing 3 of their last 4. Coming into play tonight. Daniel Stump is in the Tigers bullpen now.
We didn't see Daniel in Seattle, did we? 4-game series. Did he pitch?
I don't believe he did.
I think so. Yeah, he pitched, last pitch 5/18. First day there.
Again, the 3-2. Belted to right field. It is a foul ball. Yikes. Grossman got every single bit of that one.
Grossman's got a little pop in his bat. Hit a few homers against the Tigers last season. That's a little breaking ball that east to west in the strike zone because of that slot and that Coleman throws from. Yeah, Robbie knew it was foul.
Ooh, he just missed. It'll be a leadoff walk here in the 7th. Watch every out of market regular season game live or on demand at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription offers MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. MLB.tv for details. Here's Adrianza. They are expecting a possible bunt. Goodrum on the grass at 3rd. And he lays one the first base side. Coleman shovel toss. He is out at first base.
That was an outstanding bunt by Adrianza, and an even better play by Lewis Coleman. Even though you're anticipating, you're not anticipating a great bunt, and that bunt was a great bunt. He had to chase it down. He picked it up with the bare hand, and then he shuffled it all in one motion while falling forward because of the momentum that he was carrying. Great play.
Runner at second now with 1 out. That really was a great bunt, man. First base side, Coleman pounced on it.
It's the kind of bunt where if you're Hicks or Coleman, you don't know who's going to take it, but they made the right decision, because had Hicks came to get it, I don't think Coleman beats Adrianza to the bag, so they made the right decision as to who was going to make that play.
Ball 1 to Buxton. Strikeout, fly out for the Twins' number 9 hitter. Buxton last year winning a platinum glove. 24 defensive runs saved, which was 3rd in the majors. High fly ball, shallow right center. Castellanos. Runner will tag, coming to third base. The throw, not in time.
He must have caught Nicholas on his heels. You will never, ever see a guy tag up on a shallow ball to right field like that. But Grossman must have been looking at Nick. And we'll look here because I wasn't looking at Nicholas, but he must have been on his heels when he caught the ball.
Yeah, it sure was.
See, that's why that play we showed you yesterday with Leonis Martin in center field, you have to get behind the ball, and then you have to allow yourself to take a couple of more steps of momentum back to where you're going to throw that baseball. Then you can get a much better throw off to whichever base you're throwing it at. That was very shallow.
Heads up play by Grossman. I mean, he realized that Castellanos was on the heels and not the balls of his feet. Didn't have any momentum. He is at third down for Brian Dozier. 2 outs.
I bet you that will never happen to Nicholas again this year, though, because I'm sure Nicholas knows exactly what happened there. And Dave Clark, who handles the outfielders, once he comes into the dugout, Dave will talk to him just for a moment just to make sure and refresh his memory of always anticipating that that base runner might try to advance on you when you catch the ball in the outfield.
Dozier looks at a strike.
Dozier had a bloop double down the right field line back in the 5th inning. He kept the inning going with 2 outs on a ball that was 4 inches off the plate.
Coleman gets back in the count now, 2-2.
Back-to-back breaking balls after falling behind Dozier.
Low ball 3. Kepler would be next. They've got Stump warming up. Kepler a lefty.
And Kepler leads their team in homers and RBI. He's already driven in 2 today.
Little chopper third base side for Nico. His throw is in time to retire the side. Tigers dodge a bullet. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire.
Or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Back here in Minneapolis as we go to the 8th inning, a tight one here tonight. Game 1 in the series, all knotted at 2, and Barrios is still out there. He will go to work against the bottom of the Tigers lineup. Jacoby Jones leads it off, and he'll cue one foul back out of play.
And Tigers have played a total of 46 games so far this year, and 20 of those have been decided by 1 run.
Now Barrios now 4 consecutive 1, 2, 3 innings. Jones 2 strikeouts. Soft roller foul. One and 2 on Jones. Barrios has retired 13 in a row. The last Tigers base runner, the RBI single by Nicholas Castellanos in the 3rd. Now the 1-2 to Jacoby. Wouldn't offer, and it missed. Joe Jimenez has joined Daniel Stumpf. Barrios 9 strikeouts in this game. Fly ball toward left field, curling toward the corner. Rosario is going over. It's out of play.
Here's the pitch usage tonight for Jose Barrios. 59% with a fastball, a little bit under the average that he's done all year. He's usually right around 64 to 65%. And you can see how much he loves that curveball. And 29% with that, and then the changeup.
Chopper to third base. That is a fair ball. Quick throw is in time. That's played by Escobar. 1 gone.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch at the Mastery so far this evening by the youngster Jose Barrios. He's got that fastball that's gone anywhere from 92 to 96. He has had his foot on the gas pedal all night long. Lots of first pitch fastballs. And then he went to that curveball. That curveball is a wicked pitch. He's got strikeouts on the fastball and the curveball. We're seeing a different Jose Barrios tonight than the one the Tigers have seen previously in his outings against them.
Here's Iglesias with 1 out. It'll curl low and in. 1-0.
Out distribution. 9 strikeouts, 4 ground outs, 9 flyouts.
Ground ball left side in the hole. The shortstop Adrianza in the dirt and picked by Morrison. Pretty good leather being flashed here in the 8th inning by Minnesota.
It's a pretty nice play here by Adrianza, and really the only way that he's going to throw Iglesias out here is to surround this ball the way that he did. If he tries to backhand the ball, and then there's no way that he's able to throw Iglesias out. So he got there in front of it with one hand, able to make that play.
2 gone now for Machado. Ball 1. Well, that is 100 now for Barrios.
Yeah, which means he's not going to be around much longer, which is a good thing. That little tailing fastball has been a really nice weapon for him. It's a 2-seam fastball. I was talking to the new pitching coach, Garvin Alston, before the game today, and he was telling me every now and then he drops his arm angle too much with that 2-seamer, and he gets a lot of east to west movement, but he's had some nice action on that pitch tonight. Some nice tailing action. Sinking action, I should say.
It's gone to 3-0 now on Machado. There is action in their bullpen.
Yeah, the most pitches that Barrios has thrown this year has been 107. That was in his first start of the year.
Ball 4, and so a walk to the number 9 hitter. He has walked Machado twice. 2-out runner now, and that'll bring up Martin. Zach Duke is the lefty. Hildenberger is the righty.
And Paul Molitor has 1 foot on that top step.
Martin will be the batter. So the string of 15 straight retired comes to an end with a walk to Machado. Martin is 0 for 3, including a double play ball. Leone is still trying to find that swing after coming off the disabled list. He is now 0 for 15. Sliced out of play, 0-1.
Not a whole lot going on tonight in that Tiger box score.
Nick Castellanos has done most of the heavy lifting tonight, with both RBIs, including a homer. Fastball at 94 up top, 0-2.
Martin has gotten a steady diet of fastballs, and he's basically been swinging underneath most of them in Seattle, now here in Minnesota.
So the next pitch will equal the season high for Barrios at 107. Martin strikeout, double play, and a ground out. 2-2 as we play here in the 8th inning. Popped up, shallow center field, might drop. It's going to be caught on the run by Adrianza. Nice running play to end the inning. No runs, a walk, 1 left. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here in Minneapolis, where it's all tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Ron Gardenhire is returned to Minneapolis as the skipper of the Tigers has made a move now. Wallside Windows pitching change for Daniel Stumpf.
I told you that Daniel last worked on the 18th of May. That was a game against Seattle. Working in his 25th game this year, 528 earned run average. And Daniel has punched out 12. He's walked 8.
He's got Max Kepler, who doubled in 2 in the 5th. For the only Minnesota runs in this game.
Daniel ranks 2nd in the American League with those 24 appearances, now 25.
Strike called, 0-2. Well, it's been a bumpy month of May to be sure for Daniel. The ERA is over 15 after posting an ERA of 1.5 in April. May has been tough. April was really good. A little bit outside, 1-2.
And sometimes as a reliever, if you don't get consistent reps, you just kind of get in a rut out there where every time you do get in a game, you're giving up runs and you don't know how to stop the bleeding. But at some point in time, Daniel will. He pitched way too well for the Tigers last season down the stretch. They know that it's in him.
Twins closer Fernando Rodney tuning up. Swing and a miss. Kepler is out of there. 1 away. Sunday, May 27th, Tigers take on the White Sox at 1:10. It's a Sunday Kids Day. First 10,000 fans receive a free Nicholas Castellanos bobblehead. If you'd like tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com. Here's Nick, who's been responsible for the Tigers offense tonight. Homer and an RBI single. Down goes Escobar. That ball at his chin.
Escobar didn't appreciate it.
Nah, not as close as I thought, but it was up there. Said the guy 1,000 feet away in the safety of a booth. It's always so much easier up here.
You know it. Game looks a lot easier the further you get away from that dirt.
Big swing there.
Good pitch. After the fastball high and tight, he came back with a real nice cutter at 86, right underneath the bat of Escobar. Escobar has quite a few extra base hits this year. He's having another solid season. He can hit. 7 homers, 29 stakes.
Tied him up there and a swing and a miss.
Yeah, that fastball high and tight has gotten Escobar all out of sorts. At least those first 2 swings were swings where he's looking like to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Two singles in this game for Escobar. Pulled foul. He came in batting .308 versus lefties. A lot of these Twins this year hitting lefties pretty good. Warwick Soppold warming up.
And McCann wanted that last fastball up in the strike zone, but Escobar able to lay off of it. See if he goes back to that cutter inside.
Missed it low and in at 95. It's gone full now, 3-2. Eddie Rosario waiting on deck. Twins have 2 runs, 7 hits. Tigers have 2 runs, 3 hits. Minnesota has stranded 5 in this game. Oh, that one just missed. Where was it? McCann held it there, and it's going to be a walk to Escobar.
Yeah, Daniel thought it was strike 3 as well.
Got to give him that, don't you?
Yeah, it's close enough to call a strike. McCann did a nice job with the glove. He didn't pull it down too far. It was at the top of the strike zone.
So now Rosario steps in. Ball was up at the bill of the cap.
He must have been thinking about it was going to be a fastball. He was going to swing no matter what.
Oh for 3 for Rosario. 2 fly balls and a line out. Machado made a nice play on him, taking a hit away in the 6th inning. Fouled away. Now it's 0-2. Here is the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Tomorrow, Game 2, Matthew Boyd and Lance Lynn.
And Matthew Boyd continues to give the Tigers a legitimate shot of winning every 5th day. The ERA is at 3.19. That's in the top 10 in the American League. And meanwhile, Lance Lynn, boy, he struggled. 747 earned run average. He's 1-4.
It's kind of surprising.
He's walked a lot of batters. He's not pitching well at all right now.
The transition has not been a good one for Lance Lynn.
No.
One and 2 on Rosario. Escobar is at first. Line to center field, base hit. Escobar rounds the bag. He's going to third. Martin hustling it back in. Throw to second. Not in time. That is a double for Rosario. And now second and third, 1 out.
And a couple of pretty good at-bats in this frame. One by Escobar. He got the walk. And then now you have Rosario climbing the ladder on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball and somehow, someway getting on top of that ball to hit that laser into the outfield. And he was really hustling out of the batter's box. And this is how you get doubles. Told you this guy's a real nice performer. And the only way he makes it to second base is he was busting it out of that batter's box.
You're not kidding, because Martin can throw, and he got to the ball quickly.
Did you see what that fastball was, though?
Yeah.
That ball was up around his neck.
Yeah. He got up there and got it. And they will intentionally walk Garver and bring up Morrison. Here comes the Baz as well.
He's going to be barking out some instructions out there.
That's exactly what he does. He gets to the mound, he just barks. They're loaded up with 1 out.
Gardenhire said the other day, Mario, that in that bases loaded situation when Artie Lewicki was on the mound, after Boz made a visit to the mound, he told Artie Lewicki that D. Gordon is going to hit the ball right back to you. He's going to hit it right back to you.
No kidding.
And he hit it right back to him, and that was that ball that went off Lewicki's glove, and it trickled into right field. But Bosio told Lewicki he's going to hit it right to you, so be ready.
Well, I wonder what he told Stump here. You've got him loaded up now with Morrison coming up and only 1 out. It's been a rocky night for Morrison. He's 0 for 3. All strikeouts. Ball 1 as McCann goes down to scoop it up.
And Logan Morrison got the game-winning hit for the Minnesota Twins yesterday against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ball 2 with no place to put Morrison. Walk, double intentional walk to load the bases. Here's the 2-0. Way outside, 3-0. Ten balls, 10 strikes after 20 pitches from Stump. Daniel has to throw a strike here. And he walked it, ball 4 on 4 straight pitches. And Minnesota has taken the lead 3-2. Three walks in the inning, 1 intentional. That's going to be it for Stump. Gardy will go to the bullpen. Pitching change. We'll be back to Minneapolis. And now a wall-side windows pitching change. Warwick Soppold is in.
And Warwick comes in, has a fastball, tops out about 92, 93. He's got a changeup. He's got a breaking ball. He's having a good year. And 225 earned run average. And that bottom note, though, he needs to improve on those numbers of the 12 inherited runners that Soppold has inherited. And quite a few of them have scored. Ground ball right here would be absolutely lovely. And double play, get out of this thing.
Grossman a single and a walk in this game. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Soppold in the month of May, an ERA of 1.08.
Pitching some of his best baseball as a Tiger right now.
The 1-1. Ooh, that one curled, but just a little bit outside. 2-1 now, the count on Grossman. 375 career with them loaded, no grand slams. Popped up foul, back out of play. 2-2. Coleman came on 2 scoreless. Stump here in the 8th, allowed a walk, a double, an intentional walk, and then a bases loaded walk. And Suppold right now trying to clean it up. McCann saves the day. It's low and in, 3-2 now. So now Warwick has to throw a strike. Popped up. Shallow center field. It's Machado back. It's Martin in. Not going to be deep enough to score the run. Rosario coming anyway, and he's going to score.
Oh, my goodness. He stole that run from us.
Standing up.
Wow.
What happened there?
Well, Martin just didn't throw the ball. And when he caught the ball, he was so shallow that in his mind, with his arm and all the assists that he has in the big leagues, he thought there was absolutely no way that Rosario was going to tag up. And Rosario took a couple of slow steps, and then he just continued to run, and he was able to make it. Unbelievable. Caught him off guard. And then by the time Martin was able to gather himself, he got caught off guard. Look at him. He didn't throw it. Now when he throws the ball, he doesn't have his feet underneath him. He throws it right over his head. My goodness.
That is a huge run. 4-2 now with 2 outs and runners at first and second. Little chopper to the right side, foul.
That is about the shallowest that you will ever see somebody,
no kidding,
tag up from third base when an outfielder catches the ball. We've seen infielders with their back turned to play where guys will challenge them because they're running away from the field of play, but never with a guy that has that kind of arm will you see a guy challenge him like that.
The 0-1. 0-2.
Dave's going to have a little bit of a conversation with a couple of his boys after this one. And really, you don't even have to have the conversation with them. They both know that when you grab that baseball, you have to get it back in as quickly as possible.
Adrianza takes one in the dirt, 1-2. Fernando Rodney, the former Tiger and the current Twins closer, will be coming into this one.
And Rodney recorded a slave yesterday, and he's been pitching some pretty good baseball. He was rocky a little bit early, but his last 7-8 chances out there, he's been really good. Hasn't given up a run.
Still got the lid tilted.
Yeah, he does. Still throwing 95, 96 too.
One around, strike 3. Adrianza is out of there. That'll end the inning. 2 runs in. Rodney coming in a 2-run game. Trying to record the save for Minnesota in a wall side windows pitching change.
And Fernando Rodney has over 300 saves in his major league career. Once wore the Tigers uniform. He's converted 9 of 12 this season for his new team, Minnesota, and pitching in his 18th game. Here is the 1-800-CALL Sam. Call the game. Go back to the 5th inning. A base hit off the bat of Escobar. Close play at home. Real nice swipe tag by James McCann, clipping the back of Kepler as he slid past him. Originally called safe, the call was overturned.
So the Tigers will have 2, 3, and 4 here against Rodney, who came on in the game yesterday and struck out the side in the 9th for the save against Milwaukee.
And Rodney has recorded, has been good on his last 7 saves and giving up no earned runs. Fastball goes from 93 to 97. He still has one of the best changeups that anyone has seen in this game. I mean, you got Trevor Hoffman, who probably has the best changeup that anyone's ever seen, and Rodney might be a close second.
Well, let's see. He spent 7 years with the Tigers, recorded 70 saves in that span.
His career really took off when he left the Motor City, though, didn't it?
It sure did. He had 48 saves one year.
Yeah, that was one of those years. His first year in Tampa, he had one of the best save years of any history, a closer in the history of the game.
Buxton handles this one, and Castellanos is out 1 go. Feel free to join us again tomorrow night. Game 2 in the series, Tigers Twins. It all begins with Tigers Live at 7 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Here is Martinez. Victor looks at a strike.
And Barrios, who pitched 8 innings here today, in line to get the win after his club scored a couple of runs in the bottom half of that inning.
Barrios, 8 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts.
And this is a guy that the Tigers had really good success against coming in.
At one point retiring 15 straight. Victor looks at a strike.
There's that changeup. Rodney drops in there very nicely. And Rodney can get all the way up to 97. He's really been no problem for Victor. Victor batting .364 in his career against Fernando. Rodney's got a little hesitation in his delivery. That last pitch, he held his leg up for a couple of seconds even before he dropped it.
Here are the best batting averages at Target Field among actives, and right there is Victor right behind Cano.
You know, Miggy chomping at the bit that he's not available for the series.
Foul back out of play.
Miggy's going to have to go down on a rehab assignment, isn't he, more than likely?
You know, it's been so long that I would think, yeah, I mean, that's going to be weird, actually.
Yeah, there's been times where he has gone on the disabled list for just a short time, but it had never gone down on a rehab assignment. But this time he might have to go down there. It's been since Kansas City.
It'll dart low and in. Two and two. Gardy met with the media before this one. It was a large throng of media welcoming him back. Nemart skies one in the air to left field. Rosario has room to the edge of the track. 2 gone. It's going to leave it up to John Hicks.
And we talked about John Hicks at the top of our show today. He's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball in the month of May. Rodney with that changeup.
To left field, hit pretty good. Rosario's on the move, still going, leaps, and he makes the catch.
My goodness.
To end the ball game.
That boy can play. That boy can play. I mean, he can really play.
Eddie Rosario leaping against the wall, and Rodney saves it. Final score 4-2. Now to the Coliseum Studios. John Keating, Craig Monroe with Tigers Live postgame.